The scam that got out of hand. And I've watched all the podcast boxing shows and nobody seems to get it. Williams Sr. hit on it a little bit. So I was waiting to do this video until we heard from Roy Jones Jr., but I really didn't need to. I'm sure you've all seen Williams Sr.'s point of view, and when I put this segments up, I'll make sure I give credits to whoever, interviewed him. And then you've probably seen now Roy Jones' response. First off, let's clarify something. You spar that week they were sparring for a fight. You don't spar a week before the fight. You can spar on the Saturday before the fight next Saturday. This was basically 2 weeks before. We're talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So from what I hear, Williams Jr., I believe it was sparred 10 rounds Monday. Now the norm nowadays is you would spar every other day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Old school, 70s and 80s. Newman's Gym. Andy Nance told me he used to spar 10, 12, 15 rounds. Damn near every day coming up to a fight. Well, they don't do that anymore. Your brain needs a little rest. So getting back to Williams Jr., 10 rounds Monday, 2 weeks before a fight, and then he was going to spar. Roy called him in Tuesday to spar again. And Williams Sr. has a point. I mean, he's sparring a 5'11 guy, a light guy, 135, 140 or whatever. He's sparring a guy with an international excellent amateur record. He was 5'7". That's fine. Adrian Broner's about, 5'6". Somewhere around there. And then you got the kid, night-trained amateur, Andrew Murphy. 6 foot tall, but he was just going in to throw a jab, and he was told not to, really hurt or lay a glove on Williams Jr., from what I understand. But what I'm getting at, a big fight like this, I'm wondering if they got a training allowance for Michael Williams Jr., but you should have brought in guys the size of Adrian Broner, emulating the Philly shell, the whole bit, a magnitude of this fight. So I get Michael Williams Sr. And of course, Roy Jones is saying these are 3-0 guys that sparred with him, the 2 littler ones. Andrew's 7-0, I believe. But he was just out there maybe imitating a Philly shell, throwing a jab, apparently, from what I understand a little bit. Andrew and I don't speak anymore. I tried to give him constructive criticism over these last 2.5 years to find a real trainer instead of Roy Jones. So yeah, it's what it is. But all this, what I'm explaining, the sparring, it actually has nothing to do with the whole scenario of this. This was a money grab. Roy Jones is saying in training camp 2 weeks before that he feels Williams Jr. isn't ready for Adrian Broner. No shit. Roy's been with them how long? 5 years? He was the protege. 7-0. Williams Jr. to Roy Jones. The 2 adults and the commission failed the kid. The dad, Roy Jones, and the boxing commission. Where was this junk gonna happen? Down south, no doubt. The Broner-Williams fight. So this kid fights morgue fighters. Look at the fighters, and all of them were like this guy. Check this out. Check the film.
Put that jab on it. Good try, good try, good try. Good try, good try. Put that jab on him. Put that jab on him. Good try, though. There you go. Put that jab on him. Okay, okay. Put that jab on it. There you go.
All his 19-0, these are the type guys he fought. This was the scam with Michael Williams Sr. It worked. He had one loss out of 20 fights on national TV when he was embarrassed by John Bauza. Roy wasn't out there then. He knew what was going to happen. But Roy Jones has been with him 5 years. Dad calls Roy up. We finally got the call. The scam worked. $175,000. Fight Broner. They're ecstatic. What's Roy going to say? No, which he should have said in the beginning. No, the kid should not be fighting Broner. But Roy came out and said, I will be exclusively training Michael Williams Jr. for the Broner fight in Pensacola, Florida. So here's what I think happened. Roy screwed up when he said yes, and he'll train the kid. You know, how could he not? He's been with the kid 5 years. So Senior says right when Williams Jr. arrived, Roy's wife comes out and is worried about his brand after the Eubanks Jr. fiasco. And I kept saying in my videos, I don't know how Roy is going to want to be on board here and be embarrassed in the Broner fight. So it finally came down to this. Roy kept telling the 2 weeks before the fight, called Williams Sr., no, he can't do it. He's looking terrible. Well, Roy knew he was terrible 5 years ago and every year after that. So Roy's getting cold feet. He's going to be embarrassed again on TV. 2 times in a row now. So he's finding a way out. You don't get a kid's jaw broken a week and a half before the fight. You start going a little light, working on some stuff. And a fight of this magnitude with the money, you might want to wear the bar headgear. You've seen Manny Pacquiao in sparring do this. Getting closer to the fight. I wouldn't want this, you know, a month out, sparring 2 months out. Getting close to a fight, you would want that headgear maybe. And what's really funny, I made a sparring video before all this fiasco started, where you don't go all out. And I even said, you might not want to throw overhand rights on your sparring partner and blast them out. So yeah, Roy Jones has no excuse for this. He should have said, no, he can't be fighting Broner. The kid can't fight. I mean, this kid couldn't break a rod with a sledgehammer. Roy should have immediately, the dad should have trained.
Should have just left him alone. And if you didn't want to be a part of this motherfucking fight,
You should have just fucking left Mike alone and sent him home, and we was going to continue the mission. You don't fucking make my son fucking spar to show you what. First of all, how Mike is showing you anything when AB is 5'6", and you got my son sparring a whole nigga that's 6 foot.
His son for this fight, they would have got the bag of money, and everybody lives happily ever after. You don't think this was about the bag of money that I reported on my videos 8 days ago? This is really disturbing. After he's diagnosed with the broken jaw, the dad still wants to figure out a way to go through with the fight.
Boy, I'm like, Roy, you know Mike's jaw's fucking fractured, bro. You know what I mean? So I told him straight from there, I'm like, bro, we done with you. I was like, I said, we're going to try to see if we can get away with this shit and still fight. I said, but you ain't working my son's corner. We done with you, shit like that.
Also,
you know what I mean?
disturbing in that video, you guys should hit that video up and watch the whole thing. Roy Jones has fists and I have guns. So I would hope Roy Jones and Williams Sr. can work this out.
It wasn't my fault, I swear to God!
Oh, Jake.
It was a scam. Both of them were in it. It got out of hand. They didn't know what to do. Well, the dad was going to go through it, the bag of money. But Roy got cold feet because he was going to look like a fool out there. So hopefully they can come together with their scam and make up. So who's responsible for this? This is the bottom line. Michael Williams Jr. was failed from the scam from the start, fighting morgue fighters. Roy Jones went along with it and claiming a week before the fight, a week and a half, he's not ready for Broner. He knew that from the beginning. The commission in that state, seeing a fighter that had only, out of 19 fights, fought 2 guys with a winning record. And those guys fought morgue fighters to get their winning record. The commission can't look at that and said, no, this kid's not ready for Broner. So that's the bottom line. You don't need to watch any more of this shows, boxing podcast on it, trying to figure out. One podcaster said, man, I was really anxious to watch this fight. Are there boxing podcasters on here that don't know anything about boxing? All right, thanks for watching.